Poul's Kitchen. This is Chef Poul. Today we're going to be making a video on Atlantic corn chowder. So before we begin, hit that like, share, subscribe button. And for all my friends in Poul's Kitchen who's been asking me to do a film on soup, this is the video. Sorry, I'll do a chowder. I'm not much of a soup person, but it is what it is. I've got 3 large potatoes, 2 onions, 2 cans of cream style corn. Now a lot of people say, well, you know, you should use corn to cob or regular corn. You can use it with this, but you should at least have 2 cans of cream style corn. Corn chowder is a cream dish. You do not need broth. You should not be using any water. It's not needed. We've also got quite a bit of bacon, which is already cut up, and some celery. Now, what we're going to do first is we're going to add the bacon. We're going to let that cook for 5 minutes. We do not need any grease. We do not need any flour. We don't need sugar. And we sure as heck aren't going to use any salt. Why? Because, well, canned corn already has salt in it. It's 10% sodium. So that's got enough in it there. As well as that bacon has salt in it there, so you really don't need any salt. Even Chef Ramsay will sit there and tell you to be cautious on putting more salt in, and it's not needed. We're also going to use 1 liter of half and half whipping cream, heavy cream. It's called different things. You can use regular milk if you want. Do not use stock. It's too salty. It's not needed. If you feel the need that you absolutely have to, I prefer to use just water. And the only spice we're going to use in this is pepper. If you have ground pepper, it's great, and I'll give you a little bit of an example. My mother, out of the goodness of her heart, used to take care of an older woman in her 90s. She just helped her with a lot of things, and she brought over some corn chowder because she really liked it. Well, mom being mom, never thinking about what she's doing, rather than just using regular table pepper, she used ground pepper. The poor lady told her to bring it back to me because she won't touch it because it's a little bit too strong. Ground pepper is a lot better. It tastes better. It's better ingredients. It's more natural, and it's stronger. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by taking the bacon, and we're going to put that in our pot and let that go for about 5 minutes until it starts to become a little better cooked. And then we're going to add the onion and the potatoes, and we're going to let that go for another 5 minutes. So we'll be back soon. So welcome back. So we're still cooking the bacon, and you're going to notice as you cook it, it cooks down. Now another thing I want to make sure I'm making very abundantly clear on this, for those of you who don't understand bacon and that kind of get the drift by watching a lot of YouTube videos on this, a lot of people don't know how to cook bacon. And this is very, very important. And it doesn't matter you're using this for a soup or you're using this for just bacon and eggs. Do not add grease, no oil, no butter, nothing. Do not add any butter, no grease, nothing while you're cooking this. Why? Because if you notice, see all the grease on the bottom here? I didn't add any grease. There's no oil in my pan. There's none. And I'm almost to the point now where I'm going to add the potatoes and the onions and the celery. And I'm going to leave them in there for about another 5 minutes. But you notice the grease here, and this is what I want to point out. When you're cooking bacon, it produces enough grease. You do not need any more. I promise you. So if you know anything about bacon, that's the first thing you need to know. It's very, very important because honestly, if you put too much grease in it, it's going to be bad. You really honestly don't need it. If you got health issues, eating bacon all the time is not good for you, and it's truly not worth your time to have. So that's getting up there. So I'm going to start putting the potatoes in here. Maybe I put too much in, you know, whatever. And I probably did. I might need to take some out in a bit. I'm using a new pan and it's a little bit more than what I wanted. So what you're going to do here, you're going to put this in here, and you're going to let this cook for about another 5 minutes. I'm going to add some pepper all around this, and we're still going to add more to it. But As far as other spices, yeah, you can use other spices if you want. I'm gonna say you don't need it. It's not necessary. So, you know, I wouldn't. But pepper is about the only thing you need here. But if you want to, go ahead. But just remember, at the end of the day, if you overspice, that's what you're going to taste. You're not going to taste the chowder. At the end of the day, what you really want here is you want a good, hearty chowder, that this should work as a good meal. And honestly, it'll be good that way. So we'll be back soon. Alright, so we're cooking away here, and I want to give another little tip at cooking bacon. This is fine. But when you're going to make, like, say, eggs and bacon, you take your bacon out of your frying pan, put it on a plate with lots of paper towel, and wrap it in there and let the oil, or let the excess grease seep up in there, so you're not eating all that grease, because eating the grease is not a good thing. When we're putting it in here, of course, no, we're not going to be taking the bacon out and doing that, but the flavor of the grease will actually incorporate everything. It'll be a good thing. And no, Gordon Ramsay, you do not need a bay leaf for this. That's silly. It's needless. It's a waste, and it's not going to do anything for the natural flavors. I'm going to leave that pot, the handle or the top of the pot on here. Going to let it cook this way for a little while, and we're just going to be patient. We're going to let this cook, and it's going to do fine. Stir every now and again, but just be patient, because we want those potatoes to be really nicely cooked before we start anything else. Because the corn and the cream, that's not going to take a lot. Everything we're doing now, this is the meat of the work. This is going to be the stuff that's going to take the longest. Once we get the corn in and the cream in, we just need to get it to just about a boil, and we're gold. That's it. Like, it doesn't take a whole lot here. This is super simple. Trust me, guys, you'll love it. I don't want you to go crazy adding salt, because the stuff that we're putting in it already has enough. You don't need any grease, because the bacon's going to give that to you. Just be smart about things, because you really honestly don't need to go crazy adding a bunch of stupid stuff that it doesn't need it. At the end of the day, when this is done, you want to eat a nice chowder that tastes like creamed corn. This is going to be awesome, a very hearty meal. So we're almost done, guys. Really, we are. I'll be back. Welcome back to Poul's Kitchen. So we're pretty much done here. So I put the canned cream corn. Like I said, I had 2 cans of it, and then I put a whole 1 liter bottle of half and half heavy cream, whipping cream, whatever you want to call it. You can use just regular milk if you want. I've used black ground pepper. Now, some people are saying, well, you shouldn't use black pepper on this, because you should use white pepper. Unfortunately, getting white ground pepper is not easy to find, and it really needs the bite of the black ground pepper. That's what gives it its spice and its texture and flavor. And you see, it's more of a soupy, chowdery taste. If you wanted to, you can put a little bit more potatoes in, a little less cream, or try to thicken it up. If you want a little bit lighter, you can. Some people even put a little bit of flour in the roux too, and the reason for that, it does thicken it up. However, it just adds more carbs to it, which I don't really feel that we need. And honestly, this to me has always been good enough. It's always been super good for me. I've always enjoyed it this way. I really love this. It's one of my favorite soups that I've ever had. Amy, she can leave it or take it. She's not really big on it, but she does like it. She'll eat it. But Amy's not here right now. And I have some really exciting news to share, and some help I'm going to ask from all of you very soon. But we're going to wait on that one for just a little bit. But here's our soup, guys. I hope you enjoy it. At this point, all we're going to do is we're going to put the cover on here and just let her come to a boil, and then take her off the heat, and you're done. I don't suggest eating this right when it's extremely hot. You can certainly put this in containers and freeze it, eat it later, not a big deal. I'm promising you this will taste really good. You'll really enjoy it. Don't leave this all in the fridge, because I promise you it will go bad really quick. It doesn't take a whole lot. So this is my corn chowder. I hope you enjoy it. You have a good day.